Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life. Now, in this episode, I want to talk about, or I want to discuss, subtle signs of inflammation that you shouldn't ignore. Okay? And there's no particular reason as to why I chose this topic outside of the fact that I've been encountering a lot of new patients that are suffering from chronic inflammation. And some have stated that they wish they had known this some time ago because they would have pursued acupuncture earlier and so forth. So I decided, okay, I'll do an episode to sort of enlighten as many people as possible that if they're suffering from these subtle signs or symptoms, they need to get to an acupuncturist right away. Okay? Because chronic inflammation it can be dangerous. Okay? And we're talking cancer type dangerous. Not everyone, but some. I'm not going to delve into that right now. Right now, I just really want to cover some of the more subtle signs that you're chronically inflamed. Okay? Because ask yourself, I'm going to ask you this. When you think of inflammation, right? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? And I'm sure some of you are saying irritation, pain, and so forth. Yeah, it's true. But you see, that more so applies to acute, or rather short-term inflammation. Now, when inflammation becomes chronic, meaning it's ongoing or it's long-term, it can present with some really vague symptoms that are hard to identify with. Okay? And it's important that you're aware of it. See, short-term acute inflammation, it's necessary. It's the body's natural response to an injury or an infection, as well as it helps kill harmful bacteria and clear out like that debris to allow your body to heal properly. And when I say debris, I'm referring to like waste that's left over when cells are destroyed. Okay. But now, if inflammation continues and it just doesn't go away and it turns into chronic inflammation, that's not good. Because for one, it's a sign that the body isn't healing or healing fast enough. So this prompts the body to continually produce cytokines. And when cytokines are released over long periods of time, like weeks or months or even years, these cytokines can now begin damaging your internal organs. Okay? And it's super important that you're aware of this. You see, with the organs being damaged as a result of cytokine storm, this can lead to chronic conditions, including, as I stated earlier, cancer, autoimmune conditions, inflammatory bowel disease, heart disease, diabetes, dementia, and much more. It depends on what organs are involved. Okay? Chronic inflammation is much more serious than acute inflammation. Acute inflammation is kind of good. And So chronic inflammation requires a different type of treatment. And see, your acupuncturist or an acupuncturist will explain this to you once you make acupuncture a part of your life. Okay? But just in touching on some of the more common signs that you can experience. One is, do you ever notice that you're constantly in pain? Okay? And to an acupuncturist, this is a sign of chi and blood stasis. Okay? It can be. Where there are many reasons for body pains, like from sitting down all day at your desk at work, to overdoing it in the gym. But if you experience persistent joint pain or muscle pain, body pain, without any specific cause, this can be an indication of chronic inflammation. And again, this happens when the body continuously produces inflammatory cells like cytokines, which attacks tissues and causes pain. And generally, usually the affected area, you may develop swelling or redness and loss of function, but that area will feel warm. Okay, so that's one subtle sign that you should be aware of. Another is how's your sleep? How are you sleeping? Why do I say this? Because chronic inflammation can lead to fatigue and exhaustion. And the exact cause of that will depend on the underlying condition. Because sometimes, let's say, this fatigue can be related to another symptom disrupting your sleep. For example, like, let's say if chronic inflammation is causing aches and pains, right? It'll definitely be difficult to get enough sleep. All right? So keep that in mind. Chronic inflammation can actually be the result of sleep-related issues. So you see, an acupuncturist would be able to pick this up right away, simply because one of the main reasons is that we understand that health is wealth. Okay, we know that the wealth is not in your bank account or some type of retirement account or investment account. We know that the wealth is not in your wallet, it's not in your purse or your pocket. And acupuncturists also know that the wealth is not under your mattress or in the shoebox in the closet. We understand that the wealth is in you. And it's important that you understand that as well. But you see, now another subtle sign is, do you ever feel yourself feeling more irritable or anxious than you normally do? Okay, see, now the cytokines I spoke about earlier, these cytokines, let's say from chronic inflammation, can affect your brain and neurotransmitters associated with both mood and emotions. Okay, because the cytokines can really mess with the connections between neurons and the blood-brain barrier. Okay, chronic inflammation also, as I stated earlier, disrupts your body's ability to sleep and so forth, and which is not good. And which then impairs your mood. It can exacerbate mental health conditions. Okay, so some mood signs of chronic inflammation can include short-temperedness, irritability, anxiety, depression, agitation, and anger. So if you're experiencing any of that, please see an acupuncturist right away. Another subtle sign can be, do you notice you're getting sick a lot? although chronic inflammation is associated with, let's say, recurrent colds, it doesn't exactly cause colds. You see, chronic inflammation more so compromises your immune system, increasing your risk of infection. So when inflammation switches over from acute phase to chronic, this can disrupt your immune response, which is basically your immune system's ability to fight certain germs. And it could shake up normal cell functions, ultimately increasing a person's risk, or increasing your infection risk, I should say. So it's important that you're aware of this. And if you're not, you know what? Do me a favor. I want you to stop everything. If you're operating a vehicle with wheels, pull it over to the side of the road. Propellers, jet engines, land at your nearest airport. If you're lifting something heavy, whether you're at work, the gym, home, rest it down for a second. And if you're crossing the street right now, I need you to hurry up and safely get across the street. Why? Because I need you to close your eyes right now. And I need you to say to yourself, acupuncture is my life. And now open them. Boom. You are now brand new. And brand new you are. Now I want to give you one more of quite a few subtle signs you're suffering from chronic inflammation. The rest, you'd have to make acupuncture a part of your life to find out more. But is your digestive system acting up? Now that's a sneaky sign of chronic inflammation, which is persistent digestive issues. Because you have to understand something. What's in your gut is sealed off from the rest of your body by a lining that's sort of like an internal wetsuit. Okay, that's that tube, digestive system, from mouth to anus. It's just one tube. Okay? And as a result, the contents of what goes through this tube, which is food and water, can escape into the rest of the body and cause even more inflammation out of your gut. And this can lead to gastrointestinal complications such as abscesses, as well as constipation or diarrhea or acid reflux, and so on. And see, if you were seeing an acupuncturist on a regular basis, this will be detected right away and addressed. Okay? But I just wanted to give you a few signs that you could be suffering from chronic inflammation and you're not even aware of it. Look out for those signs. And if you're experiencing any of them, get to an acupuncturist right away and make acupuncture a part of your life, okay? Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?